Welcome back. All right, so this borderline's on a madness board. Madness board is the amount of writing combined with the number of magnets, and sort of makes me look crazy. But yeah, madness board, pretty darn close. July 28th has been a very busy day from start to what we think is the finish, but who knows? You can have trades later on. You can have signings later on too. I will likely have a lot to report on tomorrow. There are still some names out there, right? So, Linus Ullmark has signed a 4-year deal with the Boston Bruins for $5 million per season. As a Bruins fan, I love the pickup. Ullmark had a good record on an awful Buffalo team last year. He was 9-6-3. I was very surprised that Buffalo didn't find a way to keep him around, to be completely honest. I really thought that Ullmark was going to stay in Buffalo. Remember, they protected him in the expansion draft, and now he's gone. So yeah, Ullmark 4 years, $5 million per season for the Boston Bruins. And then 2 years reportedly for Foligno. Nick Foligno has signed. We just haven't had the number confirmed again as I'm recording this. But it's rumored to be near $4 million. It's in the upper $3 million per season. Fine with that. So Nick Foligno joining the Boston Bruins. The Bruins have had a good day. This has been a very good day for the Boston Bruins. And for the team, what I like is in picking up Ullmark, suddenly that's a goaltender in his prime coming into Boston. Now you've got Swayman, you've got Ullmark. I'm pretty happy with that. So it means that Rask may very well still get signed, but they have two capable goaltenders to get them through until Rask would come back in January or February if he were to come back. And at 4 years and $5 million per season, I think that's a good contract. Derek Ryan has signed a contract, not in Seattle. The expectation was that he would probably end up in Seattle. No, he's staying in Alberta. He's on his way to Edmonton, 2 years at $1.25 million per season. So I think that's a decent signing for the Oilers. So we have to give credit to the Oilers, right? There's been all this talk about the contracts that Holland has signed that people don't like. We got to give him credit for the ones that we do, right? We like the Ryan signing, right? All right. Pius Suter has also signed a 2-year deal with the Detroit Red Wings for $3.25 million per season. So Yzerman likes Suter, and I think, honestly, Detroit picks up a pretty good player here. This is where that cap space comes in handy. You don't have to worry about being up against the cap if you're Detroit, and you just picked up a good forward who's not old and who is absolutely capable of putting up points for you. So Suter, we'll see if his points totals go up or if they drop playing in Detroit and how things turn out. But I do like what Detroit's done in the offseason so far. I think adding Nedeljkovic in net, and now you've got Suter up front, yeah. And I think they did well at the draft, and there's some prospects coming over as well. Detroit is definitely building to something. As Vancouver continues to sign, well, everybody, and it just... it feels like there's a part of me thinking that either Jim Benning thinks he's playing NHL 21. I'm just going to sign all the free agents. I've done it. I have had times playing video games where I've been like, I'll just sign all the free agents, and you sign like 20 of them, not planning on keeping them. You got to watch you don't trade them too quick, or else you don't get free agents the next time around. They're like, we know you trade free agents, so you got to watch. But yeah, Brad Hunt signs for a year, $800,000. More blue line depth, and now the question being asked, so they've added all of these, I think there's 5 right-handed defensemen they've picked up. Is their defense better? To which the answer seems to be, it's better depth. I don't know if it's an actual better top 6, and again, that's the kind of thing I'll look at when I do the season previews. And they also add Justin Dowling, 2 years at $750K. Having watched him in Dallas, good depth forward, don't have a problem with that either. And again, they've signed a bunch of other players. They've signed so many players. And I just look at that and I go, well, at least in Abbotsford, this may be the whole thing of, hey, our farm team's going to be down in Abbotsford, sign a bunch of forwards and defensemen, and then it's easy to get them to Vancouver and back again. So we'll see how that relationship works. But it looks like the Abbotsford Canucks should have a decent team, right? Now, the reason I'm wearing a Flames jersey, the Calgary Flames have acquired Daniel Vladar from the Boston Bruins in exchange for a 2022 third-round pick. Boston with a crowded net. Vladar needs to pass through waivers to go down to the minors this year. So with Swayman, with Ullmark, they're like, okay, so we're not going to... I would think that Swayman's earned himself a job as at least the backup. And so Vladar has earned the right to have a job in the NHL. I think Vladar could be a solid pickup for Calgary. I do. I think that a team in the Flames that, you know, needs a good backup for Markstrom. I think he's a good inexpensive or unexpected, but he's a good backup option for Calgary. I really think so. And so that could low-key be a one pickup that we look at, say, a year down the road and say, that was a really smart move by the Flames. So I'm going ahead and saying that could very well be that. And also, I've worn Bruins jerseys over the last couple of days. I wasn't wearing one again for this. Buffalo has picked up Will Butcher from the New Jersey Devils. So the Devils, who it looked like it soured on Butcher, and with the contract that he has, they're moving on from that money, which frees up some more cap space for the Devils. They also throw in a 2022 fifth-round pick, and going to New Jersey are future considerations. So, honestly, the considerations are we have more cap space. So the New Jersey Devils move Butcher, and for Buffalo, a team that we don't expect to compete for a playoff spot, they add a decent point-producing defenseman in Butcher. He can score. And so, you know, can he stay healthy? How much will he score in Buffalo compared to what he scored in New Jersey? We'll see. But for Butcher, he is now off to the Buffalo Sabres. Also, there was a sign-and trade that occurred earlier today. The signing rights for Lane Peterson were traded to the San Jose Sharks by the Arizona Coyotes in exchange for a 2024 fourth-round pick, and San Jose then signed Peterson. They also did manage to sign Nick Merkley today. So they traded for Merkley. They didn't give him a qualifying offer, but they did sign Nick Merkley today. So that worked out pretty well. And so San Jose continues to build up their team's depth. The Montreal Canadiens, of course, shortly after I finished the video on the Atlantic Division, they pick up Hoffman at 3 years, $4.5 million per season. And there's some debate about Hoffman's game 5-on-5. I get it, but he's a good power play guy, and he'll get you points. He will score points. So I do like the pickup for Montreal. I think that's not too shabby. This, of course, would be a replacement for Tomas Tatar, right? And it's a goal scorer for a team that does need goal scorers. So we'll see. Do you throw Hoffman on the wing with, say, Suzuki and Caulfield, right? Where does Hoffman end up playing? Which line does he play on? And then that's where you get into the conversation, too, of, so with Danault gone, does Kotkaniemi get that chance at a top two center spot? Or do they bring somebody else in, and how do they make that happen? We may see, starting tomorrow, teams then looking the trade route to make improvements to their team. Speaking of trades, Seattle. So remember when Seattle drafted their team and everybody said, this is terrible. This is horrible. What a horrible. These decisions are terrible. Right. So they pick up Grubauer today in free agency, which means they add too many goaltenders. Now they trade Vitek Vanecek back to the Capitals in exchange for a 2023 second-round pick. Now, this is allowed because there's no salary retention by Seattle. Seattle can trade a player back to the team they drafted him from as long as they're not retaining salary. If they retain salary on a player, that would be seen as cap circumvention by the NHL. Since that doesn't happen here, it's perfectly fine and legal. And so, yeah, Seattle picking up a 2023 second-round pick. There's those draft picks everybody wanted Ron Francis to pick up, right? And there's still too many defensemen on their roster. Teams are picking up a bunch of defensemen as free agents. Odds are Seattle's phone's going to be ringing pretty regularly for some of those extra defensemen that they have. Also coming out today, and this is a question. So Ben Bishop, remember now, Dallas picked up Holtby. Jim Nill has said there's no word on when or if Bishop plays this year. So, I mean, I had heard it was probably November at the earliest, but now it's leaking out Bishop may not play next year either. And he didn't play at all this past season. So Ben Bishop, you would think we're getting into perhaps career-threatening territory if he's not able to play this season either. So he's going through rehab, and he's going through his practices and building up strength, and we'll see how it goes. But Dallas is not putting any kind of timeline on it, and the acquisition of Holtby tells me he's not close. And they want to make sure that they've got that figured out in the net, because they can't bank on Bishop being back. So yeah, we'll see how long he's out, and if/when he's going to return. But there you go. So some more news of the day. This is my 6th video of the day. This is kind of how free agency works. I think the record, I think I did 11 videos on this channel in one day during a free agency period, and then I did a couple on my second channel as well. So I think 13 videos was my record on any one given day. And there you go. But let me know your thoughts in the comments section below regarding any of these events. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through. You just happened upon this video. Thank you guys so much for watching, for all your support. I will talk to you again soon.